actually just talking to their child, asking them questions, having them answer in complete sentences instead of just yes or no. When they say things incorrectly, correct them. Talking to a child and reading to a child when they're very young really does make a difference in their readiness for school. So asking questions, pointing out signs, reading signs to them, talking about the fruit in the grocery store and telling them what it is when they ask. The biggest thing parents can do is read aloud with their students, their children. It allows the students to hear a proficient reader. It allows students to learn vocabulary, and it also helps them gain a love of reading. But also getting involved at the school, talking to their child's teacher, asking questions. We don't expect parents to be teachers, but there are things that they can do at home that would help their child increase their reading ability. And as far as the community, get involved in our schools, volunteer, see what's going on, join RIF, Reading is Fundamental, make donations so that we can give those students from the lower performing schools free books 3 times a year. Each child is different as far as maturity. There are just so many things. I believe it's 17 parts of the brain that have to work together to teach, to learn to read. Students tend to do better with math because most of it's learned in school, but the language piece is the home piece. So if you're not talking to your children at home, if you're not playing, if you're not doing rhyming words with them, if you're not having them try to write things and spell things and sound things out, the preparation for getting there and applying those skills and things that are learned, it's more difficult for those students. There's a study that I read that revealed that about 25% of the students who are struggling with reading below grade level, have deficiencies, and come from homes of poverty are more likely to drop out of high school. We have so much generational poverty in Escambia County. And I don't know if this is still accurate, but several years ago we were the poorest county in the state of Florida per capita. And we have families here that are in their 3rd, 4th generation of poverty. Some of our families are working 2 or 3 jobs just to keep a roof over their head or food on the table, and they literally do not have time to work with their child or children that are in school. So much of it does start in the home and talking, just talking. Even if you're not reading, the talking piece is very important. So, but there is definitely a link to reading success and poverty. The students continue to struggle academically, and many of them fail to graduate from high school on time. Big picture, often that generational poverty continues, and even bigger picture than that, we look at the economy of our district, our state, our country. We have kids that are in double jeopardy in Escambia County that come from homes of poverty and are struggling readers. I mean, the likelihood that they'll drop out of high school increases with both of those strikes. When I say get the community involved, I don't mean just give us money. Get in the schools and see what's really going on, because you can hear me talk about it and what I see, but until you go out there and you see what these kids deal with every day before they come into school or every night when they go home from school, I think it really gives them a better understanding of wanting to help our children and help the next generation. People from all walks of life need to get into our schools and see what these children deal with on a daily basis. Don't come to school with clean clothes on. They don't have breakfast, so they eat breakfast and lunch at school. We send backpacks home with food in many of our schools every weekend just to make sure the kids have food. So it's things like that not everyone's aware of. It's always been a struggle in Escambia County, but even if you look at the NAEP scores, the math scores have steadily gone up since the 90s. very small increments of reading improvement through the years. I don't know that we can say why, other than so much of that comes from the home and the language piece, and it's learned at home or not learned at home. So they come to school at a big deficit.